Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation, it's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on this third day of August, 2014. I am your host, Alex Jones. And the latest news up on Infowars.com on this Sunday worldwide transmission is amazing. We have new announcements today, fresh off the first Ebola victim from Africa, a U.S. doctor being brought in to an Atlanta hospital by Homeland Security that authorized it. That's an unprecedented move to bring someone infected with something this deadly in that kills over 90% of those that get infected with it. It's unprecedented to bring it into a country, especially when they can't contain it, and they're saying there could be as many as 30,000+ people. It was 30,000 on Friday. I'm sure it's more now, that could have been infected and over 1,000 dead. So they're hyping how deadly it is out on one side of their mouth, and on the other side saying, it's no big deal. We're going to put these people inside a standard hospital in Atlanta, but they'll be on their own wing, so it's safe. In fact, guys, I had all that here in my stack. We print me the latest on Atlanta, and specifically the article that we wrote last night dealing with that with all the details. Thank you so much. Again, worldwide transmission on this Sunday edition. Now a second American with Ebola expected to arrive in the U.S. on Tuesday. That's ABC News. The plane carrying the second American patient who contracted Ebola while working in Liberia, Africa, will leave the U.S. for the West African country later today and is expected to return Tuesday, a U.S. official told ABC News. The private air ambulance is scheduled to take off today and arrive in Liberia. After one stopover, the official said the plane will then bring the worker, Nancy Wright-Bull, to Dobson's Air Base in Marietta, Georgia, and is expected to land midday Tuesday. So this is Sunday. We're 2 days out from another arrival here in the United States. And again, I've been on the radio for close to 20 years. I've talked to a lot of medical experts, medical doctors over the weekend. Even mainstream media admits that it is unprecedented to bring someone with a super deadly disease like Ebola into the United States. Ebola-infected USAID worker due to arrive at Emory University Hospital in Atlanta. That was from a few days ago. That person did arrive on Saturday, that doctor. And remember what we wrote about earlier in the week on August 1st. Obama signs executive order to allow detention of Americans with respiratory illnesses, period. No proof you're sick, no fever, you got a cough, you got sniffles, you got a problem, you're going to get locked up in a medical brig, basically. I'm going to decipher the different angles of this when we come back and try to give you my take on what we know is happening and what may be developing. But I've told you this is the age of crises. And in the last month, I kept saying, you've all heard it every show, what's the next big shoe to drop? We got Al-Qaeda being turned loose under the name ISIS. We've got the globalists overthrowing Ukraine and a start a war with Russia. Doesn't mean Russia's perfect, but the West is detonating the crisis, is starting it. Under common law, folks, who starts it is the bad guy. We've got Ebola, the biggest outbreak ever spreading around. We've got the dollar being devalued. We've got Obama lowering the borders under just executive fiat and saying he'll sign executive orders on anything else he wants, and then he'll lock up Americans anytime he wants for basically no reason under medical emergency right before all this kicks off. You don't even need to put 2 and 2 together and say it equals 4 to understand what's happening. The age of contrived, organized, or exacerbated crisis is upon us, and it's going into hyperspace. Stay with us, Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.com. I began to get into iodine a few years ago because it was helping me and my family so much get healthy and detoxify. Most people know that iodine deficiency has been a crisis around the world. Iodine is key to so many of the body's functions, especially the thyroid. I discovered a product being developed by Dr. Group. You now know it as Survival Shield, true nascent iodine that your body can really absorb. Then, about a year ago, he said, listen, if you think this is powerful, I'm going to come out with rare earth, deep earth crystals. And the results that I personally have had have been life-changing. Nobody else has got iodine based on these pure crystals, ladies and gentlemen. This is innovating, and the best part is it helps fund Infowars.com, the radio show, the TV show, the whole media operation promoting true libertarian ideas. For a limited time, experience the ancient power of Survival Shield X2. Take advantage of this unprecedented 30% off super detox special at InfoWarsLife.com.
So we have Ian right there.
What's his name?
There is a war. It's happening now. It will decide the fate of humanity. The time to choose sides has come. We are the resistance. We are the InfoWar. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a war. It's happening now. It will affect the fate of humanity. You are the resistance. We are the resistance. We are the InfoWar. Thank you for joining us on this worldwide Sunday transmission. I'm your host, Alex Jones. We're here every Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, back weekdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., again, Central Standard Time. The news websites are Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. And you can follow us, of course, on Twitter at Real Alex Jones. This is an emergency transmission, any way you slice it. Paul Joseph Watson will be joining us from London, England, for the balance of the hour to break down the huge global developments with Ebola, the Ukraine crisis, IS or ISIS, Al-Qaeda forces, killing over 300,000 people in the Middle East. That's accelerating. The border being completely wide open, and even mainstream news calling Obama a dictator as he pledges to sign executive orders restricting the Second Amendment. It's all coming up today. Then investigative journalist John Rappaport will be popping in to focus in with us on Ebola and the pandemic that they've declared. Is it really a pandemic? Is it hype? I think it's a little bit of both. There's news behind the news, the story behind the story, or as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. So that's coming up today. First off, this is undoubtedly the biggest outbreak of Ebola ever recorded. The Ebola virus transmitted from fruit bats in Africa to other mammals on the ground is basically becoming more powerful, many experts believe. There's some evidence that it was weaponized by Western governments when it first began to emerge in the last half century. But what we do know is, and this is important, it's beyond important, no government has ever knowingly or publicly transferred a currently infected, and that means someone who can spread it, individual into their nation. African countries have locked down their borders in the surrounding area in West Africa. Liberia, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, they're checking everyone coming off planes. But here in the United States, the southern border is completely wide open, and I interviewed the head of the Border Patrol Union just earlier this week. And it's on record that people clearly sick with different type of jungle fevers that will kill you deader than a hammer, that make the flu look like child's play. It's why folks are scared to go to the third world. is pouring in through the Mexican border out of Central and South America, where a conduit has been opened, and they are loaded on aircraft or on buses and sent to the destination of their choosing. No screening. Now, again, this is unprecedented, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what's really unprecedented on top of that, the only thing that takes the cake on that craziness is Germany and now the United States. Germany has taken multiple infected individuals in the last 5 days into their hospitals. Ebola, people actively who can infect others. And the United States has already flown one U.S. doctor who was infected in to a mainline medical center in Atlanta. There's a big issue there. Wait till we get to that. And another aid worker is set to be flown in. The plane's already left Atlanta to get them. It'll be turning around in Africa tomorrow, and it'll be back from Liberia on Tuesday. And it sets the precedent now to start shipping, I guess, hundreds of Ebola-infected individuals in the United States. Now, there's a bunch of big red flag, off-the-chart, DEFCON, type stuff there. Our government's never done this before, and it violates policy and law, A. B, we've got level 4 bioweapons treatment and development facilities under BioShield, is 12 years old, and other programs, where they have underground labs that have special sensors, special airlocks, and that can be burned to the ground in a matter of seconds with fire bombs that are in them that destroy everything. They're underground with 2 rings of fences, machine gun nest, and landmines. Okay, it's the same type of facility that nuclear bombs are kept in, but even more. Level 4, look it up, containment. Now, just to show you how policies have changed, under BioShield that was passed into law in 2002, tens of billions of dollars a year is allotted to, quote, build bioweapons detection and treatment technologies. But it came out in the news it's really a way to get around bioweapons treaties and to have the U.S. develop hardcore weaponized Ebola, smallpox, you name it. So instead of it killing 91%, it kills 99%, and it's airborne. That's the type of stuff they reportedly have developed at these labs. They began to work with weaponized Ebola, smallpox, you name it, at level 2 facilities in places like Galveston, Texas. This has been in the news at the University of Texas with stuff that kills the majority of people that get it in facilities hit by hurricanes that have been flooded. Look it up in the Houston Chronicle. That happened last hurricane, 5-6 years ago, that hit Galveston. I made a big deal about it. So there's this new attitude of, let's let them ship level 4 bioweapons in a FedEx truck, and then it crashed 6 years ago, and it was a big news issue. Remember that? Or, let's put the way you design human-born mouse pox that kills 97% of people, 98% of people. Let's just put out the biological genome of that, so even a person with $100,000 and a biology degree in virology can make it. That was 10 years ago. It was a huge scandal. The FBI rightfully fought it for 5 years and failed, and 5 years ago, it was published by U.S. and Australian universities how to create airborne human mousepox with a 97% or higher kill rate. See, I don't just give you, hey, what's Obama doing, allowing, you can say, well, he didn't do it. Well, the buck stops with him. He runs the CDC. He runs the borders. He runs things as a dictator now. Congress goes around playing golf all day. And who, okay, well, then I want to know this. Who gave the order? Who authorized? Because I've been looking all weekend and can't find it. Who authorized clearly mutated, super powerful Ebola, not ready to say weaponized yet, into the United States, and it's not a level 4 facility. If it was a level 4 facility, and they had a person in a controlled pod or something, I know they have those, that was self-contained and everything, I would still say it was reckless, and I'd want an investigation. They have shipped it, I've got the article right here, to the Emory University Hospital in Atlanta, a mainline hospital, and they say, don't worry, part of a wing is sealed off. Part of a wing. Part of a wing. Part of a wing. Ladies and gentlemen, there's over 120 healthcare workers and doctors that we know of as of Friday, the latest numbers I got, that already have Ebola, and over 40 of them have died, and the others are busy dying right now. doctors in hospitals can't stop it from spreading. The hospitals can't stop MRSA and flesh-eating bacteria and drug-resistant TB and drug-resistant staph and strep from spreading.